Hello everyone, welcome to Task Careers. Today we are starting a new chapter, Aptitude and Foundational Values of Civil Services. This is third chapter of Ethics series. Now these are subtopics that are given in syllabus and we will cover each one of them one by one. Now firstly, what is aptitude? Aptitude shows natural ability to do something. Here it focus on word natural ability, and this ability can be for any work and in any field. For example, someone has ability for sports, someone has natural ability for leadership, or someone may have ability for cooking. So these are natural abilities. You have noticed that someone sings well, and this is from his childhood because it shows its natural ability. Here, if someone has this natural ability, plus if proper training and guidance is given, then he will develop competence for that field. He will have efficiency or mastership over that field. This is aptitude. Aptitude can be inborn or it can be acquired, but mostly it is inborn. And remember carefully that aptitude shows your present situation, that you have ability for this. Now we are here in aptitude, we are utilizing present scenario to find out his future potential. For example, in Khelo India, there is a focus on finding out talent from grassroots level because they are searching for aptitude. And there are a lot of exams which have aptitude test. For example, CSAT, also known as aptitude test. So I hope you have a good understanding of what you mean by aptitude. It means natural ability, your present scenario, present personality, which shows that you can do well in future. And it can be inborn and it can be acquired, but mostly it is inborn. Now next is, what is difference between aptitude and attitude? We have covered attitude in our last class. Now it's aptitude, so we will discuss difference between both of them. Attitude is positive, negative or indifferent, and this is a predisposition to behave in a certain way because it is a one step before behavior. It shows what we are thinking plus some judgmental component. For example, you can see Hitler has positive attitude towards younger people, but he has negative attitude towards weaker as well as old person. So this is attitude, whereas aptitude shows your competency, your skills. It is not related to your values, whereas attitude is related to your values. But similarity is that both attitude and aptitude can be nurtured, both can be acquired by training. Now attitude is associated with your character, your virtues or your values, whereas aptitude is associated with competence. You can compare him with Nelson Mandela, who has negative attitude against racism because he want to promote equality. Thus it is related to your virtues, your values, whereas aptitude is associated with your competence. Attitude is only mental because it is your mental structure, what you are thinking, and that guide your behavior, whereas aptitude is both mental as well as physical because mental aptitude is for civil services where you need certain kind of traits, good command over syllabus, whereas physical aptitude is very much observed in sports. So these are differences between aptitude and attitude. Now our first term is aptitude and foundational values for civil services. So we are covering those words. So now values, we have covered earlier also. Values are deeply held belief of a person which an individual give importance, and these values guide individual behavior. And these values help an individual to determine what is right and what is wrong, because if someone values honesty, truth, then these values guide him to stay away from corruption. And if you have any doubt regarding what is difference between attitude, between values or behavior, then you can watch our earlier videos. Now, everyone wants that his action should align with his values so that he will not have any guilt. And this is true for both personal as well as public life values. And generally it is noticed that if someone follows values in his personal life, then this is also applicable for public life, and also vice versa. Because if someone shows honesty with his partner, then he is also display non-corrupt behavior in public life, because he has those values and he believe in following those values. Here, if he has values in one aspect and he is not following those values in other field, then probably he will have guilt, and that guilt will promote him that he should not do this work again. So these are values. Now civil services values, and we will focus on foundational values for civil services. So now we are covering that subtopic. Now, civil servants have a lot of tasks to do. They have responsibility for development of our country, and they have another goal of inclusive development. And now access pressure, because now they have also work of maintaining balance between environment sustainability as well as development, and rising population pressure. So if civil servants has to do a lot of work, then they should have a minimum set of standards on the basis of which they can evaluate things. They can decide what is right or wrong. Now, these values can be goal oriented. Goal oriented means ends, focus on ends. Now, these ends are justice, social, political, economic justice that is mentioned in our constitution. And you can also mention about equality, liberty. So these are some of the end values. Now civil servants also have to focus on means, and these means are empathy, integrity, discipline, impartiality. We will discuss these each of values later in this chapter only. So these values, whether they can be means oriented or ends oriented, they provide a foundation for working of our steel frame, that is civil servants of our political system. So we can say that these foundational values are needed because civil servants are foundation of our democratic system. Now we will notice importance of these values. Firstly, these values ensure that civil servants work with honesty, impartiality, and efficiency, because these honesty, impartiality, or efficiency, these are needed. If foundation of any system is weak, then how that system can work? Thus, for maintaining our efficiency, these foundation values are needed. Secondly, civil servants are bridge between our political leaders as well as common men. So civil servants has duty to fulfill this gap, because it is noticed that political leaders are accessible to public mainly during election time. So it is responsibility of civil servants which are permanent executives. That means civil servants will continue their work even though political leaders continue to change after a certain interval of time. So these civil servants has a role to maintain connect between common man and political leaders. These foundational values provide courage and willingness to civil servants to remain lawful, and if they are remaining lawful and they have other values like empathy, sympathy, compassion, then their administration will be effective. So you can say that for good governance, you can connect these topics with your GS2 syllabus, that for good governance it is needed that civil servants should have these foundational values. Again, civil servants are given so much power, especially discretionary powers are given, where each and every rule is not defined and civil servants have to take decisions by themselves according to the circumstances. So these discretionary powers provide scope of misuse, so certain guidance to these civil servants, and these guidance are internal. So these guidance is needed so that they can prevent misuse of power. Now, civil services values are recommended by Nolan Committee, that was in UK, and these values are mentioned, that selfness, integrity, objectivity, accountability, and all. So you can mention these values in form of a diagram, so that you will have some diagram to draw in that answer. Now, in India, there are some conduct rules that are mentioned in Civil Services Conduct Rules 1964, and these conduct rules mention what should civil servants do and what should not do. So these mention some do's and don'ts, but these conduct rules are not code of ethics. There is another topic, that is code of ethics and code of conduct. Now, code of ethics provide a outer framework that these values should be followed, and this is end goals of any work. Wherein code of conduct, there is a detailed instruction what should do and what should not do. So code of conduct give minute details, but code of ethics provide a bigger picture. But code of ethics is lacking in India, and code of ethics is very much important because it provides those guidance where these detailed rules are not mentioned. These code of ethics can provide guidance how civil servants should behave, how should they take decision in difficult circumstances. So this can be one of the recommendation, that code of ethics should be established in India. Now, integrity. This is first value that is mentioned. Integrity. What is integrity? Integrity shows that consistency. This word is important. And this consistency can be in actions, values, methods, principles, expectation, or outcomes. It shows that if an individual has decided that he will not do corruption, then he will follow these values for whole life. If someone has decided that he will do some scientific and logical work, then these values will be followed whole life. So integrity shows consistency, and this consistency can be noticed in what an individual think, what an individual say, and what an individual do in public. So consistency also reflect in these action, because if someone is saying that he respect women, he has mentioned this fact, but this fact is applicable when that woman is his sister or mother. But when that woman is an outside girl, then these principles take backseat and he involved in teasing, then this is not a integrity behavior. Now, according to Nolan Commission, integrity can be defined as holders of public office should not place themselves under any financial or other obligations. It means that civil servants do work independently and they will be not affected by political pressure, not affected by any affiliations like family affiliations or friends affiliation. These external factors will not impact his work or his efficiency. Now we can recognize different types of integrity. Notice that there is not any criteria or not defined types of integrity. We can recognize in number of integrities. For example, moral integrity. It shows that there is integrity in following moral values. For example, truth and honesty will be followed in every action. Secondly, Professional integrity, it shows that higher professional values like hard work and dedication, and these will be follows in every action. You can notice this in ISRO work, where even if our scientist has seen some failures, but their professional integrity in terms of hard work and dedication remain continuous. So it reflects integrity of ISRO and their members. Now artistic integrity, again it shows that certain values are followed in artistic work. Now you will see some differences between honesty and integrity because these terms look somewhat similar. Accepting that I took a bribe is honesty. Consider you have done some mistake, you have taken some bribe for any job or any project when you are allotting that project. Now you have clearly declared that you have taken a bribe, then this is a case of honesty. But in the beginning only you have not taken any bribe, that this shows that integrity. Here bribe can be case of external pressure, because you initially you have take bribe under external pressure or under threat of someone, so that also not a step of integrity. Now you can see that in integrity you will follow those actions which are according to conformity of your values, but an honest officer can do those works which are against his values, because here he is following orders of his seniors. And consider if senior is corrupt, then he has given some illegal orders, and honest officer will follow these orders, but officer with integrity will not follow. Now you can easily analyze that integrity has associated some other characteristics like honesty. He has honest, he will work transparently, he will take responsibility for his actions, and he will work for public welfare. These are other associated characteristics of individual who work with integrity. And integrity can be inculcated, for example through training, institutional structures, and by setting code of ethics. So code of ethics I have discussed earlier, and we will discuss in detail later. And training and institutional structure. Now training, for example Labasana training, so these that time period or those experiences are needed to maintain or to inculcate some values of integrity. And institutional structure, for example if work culture of an organization is that you have to maintain consistency in your work, for example ISRO, then there is less chances that any newly recruited scientist will not follow integrity. Now these are some of the points which I have discussed under integrity. Firstly, what are types of integrity, what is definition in our common word, and the definition by Nolan Commission. Now difference between honesty and integrity and other characteristics associated, and how we can inculcate integrity. Now some brainstorming why integrity needed for civil services. So start thinking why needed. You can think this point from various dimensions. Firstly, from perspective of a civil servant, then perspective of our society, and then perspective of our whole country. From civil servant perspective, if he is following integrity, that is consistency, then his efficiency will be maintained. He will known for his good work. For example, E. Sridharan, he is known as Metro Man of India because of his professional integrity, and this integrity will help him to stay away from distractions. These distractions are corruption, nepotism. So these are importance for civil servant. Second, you can also mention some other points like if he has integrity, then other issues like resignation from job etc. can be avoided. Now society, how integrity is needed from societal perspective. So you can mention about weaker section. Someone has integrity that he will work hard for those people, then those people will be benefited. Secondly, countries like India where lots of work has to be done, their integrity is needed so that work can be done in hostile environment where political pressure is there, people are not listening. Even that environment also integrity is needed so that civil servants can work. So you can mention about welfare or e-governance or good governance. These topics you can connect here. Now country, if our foundation is strong, then efficiency will be high, and this is needed for development. And you can also relate with current issues like development versus environment issues can be handled easily. Here this you have written many points, and these many points shows multi-dimension answer. That's all for today. We will discuss these topics in next class. So if you have liked our lecture, our planning, our strategy, please like, share and subscribe Task IAS. Thank you so much. I hope we will all meet in our next class.